In this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit and show you how I personally approach building an AI application today. Now, over the past few years since I've started this channel, I've had a ton of open source repositories where I've been fortunate to have a number of moments where things have gone viral. I built templates like OpenLovable, an early clone of Perplexity, as well as a number of open source versions of popular tools that are out there, as well as some ideas that I've just had. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out of all of my most popular repositories, they all follow a lot of common patterns. And what I wanted to do in this video is to show you a really quick demonstration where we can go from idea to deployed application incredibly fast. Now, the one thing that you'll notice with all of these applications, they're all based on TypeScript. The other thing that you can't see from actually looking at this, they're all actually built on Next.js. Now, Next.js is a open source framework where it's largely supported by the team at Vercel. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be showing you how you can build a Next.js application and leverage a ton of the core features that Vercel has. Now, if you're not familiar with Vercel, they're an AI infrastructure cloud. Effectively, what they built are a ton of open source frameworks or the core infrastructure to actually power all of these things, such as an AI gateway. They have the AI SDK, which is incredibly popular. And then they also even have, for those that are interested, a no-code, low-code builder, which allows you to easily scaffold up ideas completely with natural language. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how you can build. In this case, what I'm going to do is with Claude Code, we're going to be leveraging the AI SDK. We're going to be leveraging some of the latest models that are on the AI gateway. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building and deploying our Next.js application. And I can show you how you can build with these modern tools that are out there, such as Claude Code, and how easy it is to get started. Now, first things first, so a prerequisite for everything that I'm about to show you is just make sure that you do have the Vercel CLI installed. Also make sure that you do have an account if you don't already have one set up. Now, what I'm going to be showing you in terms of the deployment process is going to be completely for free. Your deployments are going to be free, as well as the AI features that I'm going to be showing you. You're going to get $5 of free credits every month through the AI gateway. So this should be enough to get you started. Now, the first thing that you can do is, in order to get started with the Vercel CLI, just go ahead and install this and make sure that you have an account, go through the authentication steps, and then once you're set up, you should be good to go. Now, the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be leveraging the AI SDK. Now, the one thing that I love about Vercel is they are world-class in terms of developer experience. If I just take a look at the AI gateway or the AI SDK, what you'll notice is immediately within the hero area, you'll be able to see exactly how quickly you can get started. So what you'll see within here are a number of different tabs in terms of how you can get started building AI applications with some of the core forms of media. If you want to build a text-based application, it's there. There's image generation, there's speech generation, transcription, as well as video. Well, the first thing that you can do to start an application is you can actually just talk to Claude Code. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, I want to create a new Next.js application, and I want to leverage the AI SDK and build me the starting point of having a ChatGPT-like clone. Now, one thing that I also want to call out with the AI SDK is when you see the model provider just like this, it is going to be routing directly through the AI gateway. What you can also do is you do have the option where you can actually link this and you can select the provider and use your pre-existing API keys if you don't want to use the AI gateway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this in exactly like this. And what we'll notice is we'll have Claude Code go through, and it has all of the different controls to take action on our computer. It will create a Next.js application. It will run the command to scaffold it out, and we'll see all of the different commands going through. Now, additionally, what I'm leveraging within here is something called Context 7. I leverage two different CLIs primarily for getting documentation as well as information from the internet. I leverage Context 7, and then I also work at Firecrawl. So those are the two core ones that I leverage within my coding assistant. Now, what Context 7 allows us to do is they have indexed essentially all the documentation of the popular repos as well as coding tools that are out there. So it will be able to quickly and easily return all of the different snippets for what you're asking it to do. In this, what it will do is it will go through and begin to scaffold out your application. It will install everything that it needs, and it will also go through and give the initial starting point of what we want to build. It will go through, it will build the API handler. Within here, we see we're building the chat route for the API. Now, the one thing that I really want to emphasize with coding tools like Claude Code or Codex or others, or any of these agentic coding tools, it's a very iterative process. You very much have to be in the loop, at least right now, to actually build something that is worth using. Okay, so here's the first iteration of our application. The one thing that we have to do is still grab our API key. So within here, you see I have $5 worth of free credits, which resets every month. And the nice thing with this is when you do want to switch to a different model, if I toggle here and I show you, you'll see just how easy it is to toggle between the different models. And the other thing that I do want to call out is on Vercel, there are a ton of different models. So if you want an incredibly fast model, you'll be able to access that. If you want to access the latest Nemotron 3 Ultra open source model from NVIDIA, which is a very fast and capable model, you'll be able to access it here. Now, the other nice thing with AI Gateway is you're going to have a number of different providers with pass-through billing. In other words, you can leverage all of these different infrastructure providers all through this one gateway without having to worry about reaching for API keys and setting up different configurations for each API provider. Everything's going to be unified through this gateway and through one bill. And then what I'm going to do within here is I'm going to VI into .env.local. And what you'll notice within here is we have the starting point of our API keys. And then within here, what we'll see is this is what the model has set up for us. It's even giving us instructions in terms of how to leverage this. If we want to use Vercel AI Gateway, like we are in this case, we can just go ahead and add our API key here. And the one thing to mention is if you do want to have access to the code that I'm generating in this video, I'll put a link to that within the description of the video that you can go ahead and pull all of this down so you can follow along and take a look at what the LLM actually generated for us. Now, once you plugged in your API key, you can go ahead and test out your application. Here we see everything streaming out. Now, off the bat, there are some things right out of the gate that we can go and begin to improve within our chat application. The one thing that you'll want right off the bat is some way to handle the markdown that is generated from the response of the LLM. Now, another package that I love is something called Streamdown. And what Streamdown does is it allows you to have a streaming markdown effect within your chat application. Here is a demonstration of this. If you want coding blocks or if you want latex blocks, you want headings, you want tables, all of the different core pieces that could come up within a chat application. Streamdown is a really easy way in terms of how you can leverage this. And then within here, all that I'm going to do is instead of actually going through and looking for the documentation, just to demonstrate how you can leverage some of the coding tools that are out there, is if you just simply say use Streamdown and you point to the context of the URL, if you have certain tools like Context 7 or Firecrawl installed, I'm simply going to say use Streamdown for the response block. Now, what Claude's going to ask me is, what context do I want to leverage this in? And in this case, I'm going to say integrate it within my app. And this is one of those subtle things about just how wild it is in terms of how we can actually develop applications now. I can simply point my coding agent to a URL and it can go and it can figure out exactly how to incorporate it within my application. And these types of small little time savers, especially for greenfield applications, if you know something is tried and true, knowing what to reach for when can save a ton of different time. If you are interested, there are really great docs in terms of how exactly Streamdown works and how you can configure it a little bit further. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up again and I'm going to have debug why is my use effect running twice. So I'll go ahead and I'll click that. And what we'll see within here is now we have all of those coding blocks as well as things like the headings all streaming in without me having to worry about stitching together some bespoke markdown renderer for all of our streaming in text. Next, I wanted to show you a really simple trick to make applications look much better. So right off the bat, the one thing that I do want to flag is Design.md, which is something that was popularized by Google Labs. And what it is essentially a new format where it will have the conventions of your design system that's easily to understand for a large language model or these coding assistants. So within here, we'll have things like colors, typography, all of the different conventions in terms of spacing, components, and all of the key components that we need to have our brand be consistent. Because that's one thing with a lot of applications is if we just were to ship it like this, it would immediately send off flags that it looks like an AI generated application. That's definitely something that we want to avoid. And now the cool thing with D is since it is effectively just a markdown file, a lot of people have gone through and open sourced a ton of different cool examples. Let's say I wanted to use Vercel as the starting point of where I want my application to look like. All that I need to do is I can copy this, then I can go back to Claude Code and I can say, let's update all of the styles to use the following. And then I'll go and I'll paste in that Design.md. Okay, now since our application is just starting, it should just take a minute or two to go through and update all of the different classes as well as the relevant styling files to actually get this up to speed. Okay, and here we go. So here is the new version of what it has generated for us. Instead of that dark theme with the greens and what have you, now we have this much nicer look that is very similar to the Vercel design style. Okay, so now that our application is looking a lot better, I just want to go ahead and actually ship the first iteration of this. Now, the nice thing with with Vercel, as well as coding agents, is what you can actually do is you can instruct Claude Code once you have the CLI installed to actually deploy your application directly. You can actually do a lot of these different tasks agentically since you have access to the CLI. So you don't have to go in and configure different things within the UI. While you still have that as an option, you can just do a lot of this directly from the CLI or just instruct your coding agent to do that. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to show you just how far you can actually leverage systems like Claude Code or Codex or these agent harnesses. What you can actually do is if you have access to the GitHub CLI and the Vercel CLI that we had just installed, what I can actually do is I can ask the coding agent to create a private repo on GitHub, and then I can have it deploy to Vercel and have the CI all set up automatically for every time that I push changes to the main branch on my GitHub repository, it will automatically deploy to Vercel. Let me just show you that. Create a private repo on the Developers Digest org. And once we've done that, let's push up all of the changes that we have. And then let's go ahead and deploy this to Vercel on the Developers Digest account and organization. I want to make sure that it actually deploys to my personal account and that it isn't reaching for anything on work account. That's one thing to be mindful of is if you do have certain accounts that are tied to things like your work account, just be very, very cognizant of what you're doing. Now, I've used coding agents for quite some time, so I'm quite familiar with these types of things, but just know this if you're relatively new to this. Now, if I go through and take a look at what the agent is actually doing, so it's checking that I have GitHub installed and authenticated. It sees that I have my Developers Digest account. Now, the one reason that I specifically called out to put this on the Developers Digest org is because I also have that account linked to my work account. So I want to make sure that it's creating that repository on my account and not on my work account by accident. And then within here, you can see it will go through, it will run all of the relevant Git commands to get everything set up. We see it's going and it's creating this demo app repository. And then what it will do is it will go through the steps, it will set up a private repository, and by the end of it, it's actually deployed this to a live URL. So if I go ahead and I click this, we see it authenticating quickly, and now I have this application that's live. It's done everything from creating the private repo all the way through to deploying it. And if I take a look here and I open this up, I'll simply test it out, and we have a functional deployed application. Now, one thing that's nice with Vercel is as soon as you run this, it is still gated behind authentication. So you can test this out before you actually remove that protection of authentication. And the one thing that's nice with Vercel is when you deploy an application like this, is it is gated behind authentication automatically, where you can go ahead and remove that when you're ready. But what's nice with this is by having that by default, you can know that it's working before you actually switch that off and send users to it. Now, the really nice thing with how this works, now at any point when I make updates to that GitHub repository, what it's going to do is it's going to automatically go and rebuild my application and deploy it. And this is nice in a number of different ways. For instance, if you have a bunch of different features that you're working on, what it will do is we'll be able to go and check out all of those different branches of what we're actually doing in those respective branches. And we can have a number of these working in parallel and have the staged Vercel environments where we can take a look at the actual changes before actually merging them in. And the one really nice thing with this is you don't have to worry about any deployment step. I simply ask with natural language to go and deploy this application, and now it is live. Now from here, if I wanted to add a custom domain or take a look at analytics over time, you can go ahead and add in all of that. It is incredibly straightforward. Now, the one thing that I do want to emphasize with this is, as you saw, I basically touched absolutely no code at all. Now, that's one of the big things that's changing right now, is all of a sudden, it's not just developers that can build. It's really becoming anyone, and anyone with an idea and anyone with the passion to push through all of the different things that might come up. Things are not going to work perfectly. That's a part of development, but that's one of the really exciting things with where we are right now. Basically, anyone with an idea, as well as with enough agency to actually go and see it through, you can build to your heart's content. And the one thing that I want to emphasize with this is, like I mentioned on the outset of the video, is basically everything that I've built is always with this very similar stack. So oftentimes I might switch out different elements here or there, but from the most popular projects that I've built, it is always the same stack. It's Next.js, it's deployable to Vercel, and I make it really easy to incorporate all of the different cool pieces of technology that they're constantly working on. Another one, just as an aside, is if you want to leverage the sandbox and you want to have the capability of actually building and rendering applications, extensions, like something I did in OpenLovable. They have that as a service. They're constantly iterating on all of the different things that people might want within the agentic era. And the one thing that I do want to emphasize with Vercel, as well as these types of tools that I'm showing you, is I leverage this within these types of open source projects and these types of demos that I have on this channel. But we also leverage this where I work at Firecrawl. And Vercel has been an incredibly reliable piece of our infrastructure. So for instance, the web application of Firecrawl, from the website all the way through the playground and all of the component pieces of what's built into the application, is built on Next.js and it's built on Vercel. And for instance, there's a ton of different technology that is built into the playground that we have on Firecrawl that is built on top of the AI SDK. For instance, we have a production interact feature where what it does is it allows you to interact and have agents leverage website with just natural language. For instance, within here, I can say click the docs page, and what's actually happening is we're using the AI SDK to go and translate what we're saying in natural language to scripts with something called Agent Browser that their team has also built. And this is just to show you how you can go from just an idea that you're working on, like I demonstrated throughout the video, through to these open source projects that you might launch, all the way through to a company that could be incredibly successful. Now within here, just to break this down, so what's actually happening within this interact environment, when I send in the natural language instruction, there is an AI SDK loop where what it's doing is we're taking the instructions and we're translating those instructions, leveraging something called Agent Browser to actually take actions on the page. So all in all, I just wanted to show you a really quick one on arguably one of the fastest ways in terms of how you can get started from idea to deployment, and ultimately how these types of tools can actually scale you all the way through to a very successful business. I honestly genuinely want to thank the team at Vercel for, one, sponsoring this video, but also for having some of the best tools, as well constantly pushing the forefront of developer experience, infrastructure, as well as a whole host of new technologies that they're constantly working on. Otherwise, if you found this video useful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Otherwise, until the next one.